Well, it's a very odd scene here because Northern Ireland are in their all-yellow change kit, their new kit. They're lined out on the left-hand side of the pitch as we look here in Serra Valley, the optimistically named Olympic Stadium of San Marino. There's about 1,000 green and white army in the stand on the far side. It's an astonishing roof above us that's made completely of wood. You don't see that too often. And there's an athletics track running right around the pitch, but it's in great condition. The floodlights are bright. There are trees behind the goals away to our left. There's a grassy bank behind the flags away to our right. So it's a very idiosyncratic stadium here in San Marino. Northern Ireland have never conceded a goal in 4 previous qualifying matches. Those were in World Cup qualifying campaigns. And of course there was that famous goal that San Marino scored back in 1993 after 8 seconds. Unlikely that it might happen this evening, Jim Magilton. But I mean, Northern Ireland would take another 3-0 victory, just like they have won here in previous occasions in the past. 3-0 would do.
It would certainly do, Michael. Yes, I think this is all about mindset and positive attitude, high tempo. You know, he's picked 2 centre forwards who want played in behind. They want to turn defences. I hope we look forward early, and I hope we play off that. Certainly it comes down to this mental attitude of respect the opposition, as John says, but really go and take the game to them.
Drilled forward immediately from kick-off by Kieran Brown, who's back in the starting lineup. It's Bailey, Peacock, Farrell and goal. Wing-backs of Bradley and Lewis, with Ballard, Cathcart, the captain, and Brown, the central defensive trio. They've lost the ball, San Marino on the far side. Northern Ireland have it, but eventually all in sky blue. San Marino trying to work it away, but Northern Ireland still have it. They've started very well. They spread the ball to this left-hand side, and Jamal Lewis. Lewis wearing number 3 on his back. Gives it out to this near side, the left-hand side. And a shove in the back for George Saville from the number 11, Manuel Battistini, whose brother Michael is on the bench. Northern Ireland have it all in yellow. So in midfield, it's Shea Charles, Paddy McNair, George Saville, with Leon Charles and Washington up front. It's an all-Hungarian team of match officials. We do have VAR. That was a nice interchange of passes between Saville and Lewis on the far side. But San Marino, all in sky blue, have picked it up. They've conceded it again to Leon Charles, his second start up front for Northern Ireland. Paddy McNair back in the more accustomed midfield role, around the central defensive one that he was asked to play in a couple of games in the Nations League. That's a tumble on the far side by on Shea Charles, but play continues. The referee in traditional all black. And here comes San Marino on the halfway line. Conor Bradley, who's been brilliant for Bolton this season, has won the ball back. Paddy McNair on the right-hand side. He's trying to slot it past one of those elderly gents in the heart of that San Marino defence. We can hear a lot of young voices in this stand. I think a lot of free tickets have been given away to school children. A lot of very young supporters here in the main stand that Jim Magilton and I are sitting in. But play immediately continues with Kieran Brown inside his own half to Craig Cathcart, winning his 70th cap this evening and the captaincy as well in the abs. He slipped as he plays the ball forward. It's knotted down by Washington, nearly into the path of George Saville. It's a bit of a scrappy start from both sides. Frantic stuff from Northern Ireland, wanting to impress themselves and the opposition in the opening minutes. It's with Jamal Lewis on this near side. Back to Kieran Brown. Infield to Shea Charles. Charles's ball didn't find the feet of Washington. Pitch is in good nick. Maybe just a little bit slippery and thick. And that's a good turn on this near side by Berardi, who's back playing after injuries to both knees. Chipped forward for San Marino to try and chase Kieran Brown, slipping over. Did he get a shove in the back? Either way, it's going to be a goal kick to be taken by Bailey Peacock Farrell, who started 21 of Ian Barraclough's 28 games in charge. And of course, he arrives here off the back of conceding 6 against Manchester City in the FA Cup last weekend. He's all in a sort of orangey red top. Northern Ireland in this unfamiliar yellow.
I think it's really important in these areas, especially with the right and left side centre half, Michael, that they step in and play. I think Cameron can step in and play now when he goes to go and play now, because they're going to see an awful lot of ball.
Long ball forward by Kieran Brown, chested by Dion Charles. He tries to slip it past the defender as he won the corner kick on this near side. He has. Well done, Dion Charles.
Yeah, good. I think it's, as I say, playing that sort of ball, because Charles and Washington want to run in behind. It's important, especially early on, to get the defence, the defenders facing their own goal.
Made his debut against the USA, Dion Charles, 2 years ago. 18 goals for Bolton this season. It's a lovely dry evening. It's getting a bit chilly though. Saville's going to take this corner on the left-hand side. You can hear the Green and White Army in fine voice. They're enjoying themselves in the mountainous cafes and restaurants of San Marino earlier today. It's a very hilly place. It's a very hilly place. Corner will be taken by Paddy McNair. Gives the signal. Right foot to the back post, punched away by the goalkeeper, only as far as Bradley, who hits it, takes a deflection, and that will be another corner kick to Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and we were just talking before going on air, Michael, about set pieces and how important they are. I know a real strong part of Michael's last tenure was, he worked so hard on set pieces and scored a lot of goals.
He's played the most club minutes of any player for Northern Ireland this season. That's Conor Bradley. It's well, just as we talk about set pieces, the Paddy McNair and George Saville weren't on each other's wavelengths at all, and the pass has gone over the line and out of play for a goal kick to be taken by the man winning his 80th cap, Elia Benedettini, whose cousin is one of the goalkeeping substitutes, and Benedettini is all in green. And he will take this goal kick. He's away to our left. San Marino playing from left to right. And Benedettini, right-footed kicker, gets it over the halfway line, where it's nodded forward by Daniel Ballard, fit again, and back wearing number 4 for Northern Ireland. But they can't keep the ball from going out of play on that far side. There certainly is a long jump pit on the far side in front of those Northern Ireland fans. Athletics running track, 8 lanes all the way around the pitch, and San Marino trying to drill the ball upfield. They've got it at the halfway line. That's a poor touch in the centre circle. That's a tug on Shea Charles, and that'll be a Northern Ireland free kick that Kieran Brown, with his long hair tucked in that bun, will take. Hungarian referee this evening is Gergo Bogar. We do have VAR. Saville on the halfway line, the Northern Ireland left. Back to Kieran Brown. We've played nearly 6 minutes. Northern Ireland just settling down into the evening here in San Marino. Earlier on in the group, Slovenia came from a goal down to beat Kazakhstan by 2 goals to 1. Northern Ireland have coughed up possession and was taken on by Battistini, but again illegally so, says the Hungarian referee. And Northern Ireland just having to settle themselves down, Jim. They're a little bit frantic. Yeah,
it's understandable. First game, now there will be a lot of nervous tension. I think just in the, again, I'm going to harp on probably all night about these areas. Centre half, right and left, have to step in and influence the game, like Daniel Nye.
Northern Ireland right-hand side. Bradley pushes it forward to McNair, tries to get the cross and wins another corner, this time on the right-hand side. And McNair will pop that ball down. Across comes Bradley to offer some width there. Well, Saville actually plays it in towards Shea Charles, and Charles has put that ball too close to the goalkeeper, and that should be and is an easy take for Benedettini.
Yeah, 3 set pieces, sloppy, haven't really done enough. Shea's just overhit that. I think Michael will be looking, especially with the height in the team as well, good delivery, go and attack the ball.
Slovenia scoring a winner in the 78th minute after they had gone 1 down halfway through the first half away to Kazakhstan, so it's a great start for them, a 2-1 victory. Long trip, and Northern Ireland play the ball upfield. Paddy McNair in an attacking role on the right hand side again. Good challenge coming in at the expense of a throw-in conceded by the big man Dante Rossi, the 35-year-old, who's the younger of the two in the central defensive pairing. It's Roberto Di Maio making his competitive international debut, his full debut for San Marino at the age of 40. McNair has it on the right-hand side by the corner flag. Cleared upfield by San Marino, but the ball's still deep inside their own half. There was a little tug by Daniel Ballard, and that'll be a San Marino free kick. Frantic stuff from the coach Fabrizio Constantini, who's drawn 2 of his opening 10 games in charge. One of them that first of 2 friendlies against St Lucia back in November. And he's very dapperly dressed, all in black with shiny shoes, marching around his technical area right in front of us. San Marino play the free kick short inside their own half. Packed seating areas on the far side with Northern Ireland fans. Like a few late arrivals still making their way into the stadium here, but they're packed in there on the far side. They're making a little bit of noise. We played 8.5 minutes. Neither goalkeeper so far has been troubled.
It's amazing, Michael. Even looking at Conor Bradley, he looks bigger, even in stature. And he started the game really brightly. He's on the front foot. He started the game in the early seconds, closing the ball down. And he just looks as if he's played minutes. He looks just a different player.
Goalless in the Denmark-Finland game as well in Northern Ireland's Group H. There's a challenge coming in on Kieran Brown. And that'll be a Northern Ireland free kick. Nicola Nani winning his 28th cap up front for San Marino. He's told to get back on his feet, and play continues with a throw-in taken by Brown and quickly out to that far side. Bradley on the ball. Back to Daniel Ballard. It is odd looking at Northern Ireland all in yellow with black trim. And that's at the feet of Craig Cathcart, captain for the evening. Ballard going over the halfway line on the right-hand side. Looking at the options. There's a man with him. He forces him over. Berardi. Quickly taken free kick for Northern Ireland. Shea Charles feeds Saville on this left-hand side. Good turn by Washington. Slips over in this surface. Not the first Northern Ireland player so to do. Northern Ireland still have the ball. It's played out to Jamal Lewis from Shea Charles. Lewis on the left-hand side. Being told to play the ball infield to Shea Charles, wearing number 19. Shea Charles to Saville on the left. This is better from Northern Ireland. Jamal Lewis under pressure has put the ball out of play for a San Marino throw-in. 10 minutes played. San Marino 0, Northern Ireland 0. This opening game in European Championship qualifying Group H for Northern Ireland. And they've got Finland at home at the National Stadium at Windsor Park on Sunday. Lewis side foots the ball forward. Washington can't get anything on it, and it's going to break for San Marino on this right-hand side. You can hear what the school children think of that. It's taken on by Berardi. Up against Lewis, ball in field, well cut out by Shea Charles, who takes a tumble, and that'll be a Northern Ireland free kick to the disgust of Mr. Constantini, who is using up a lot of emotional energy in the opening 10 minutes.
Yes, he's getting rather excited there. Again, a nice interception from Shea. He's been a little bit sloppy on the ball, but it's two really good interceptions from him. Just needs to settle down when he's in possession.
Northern Ireland have it with Conor Bradley, who's made 38 starts for Bolton, the 19-year-old. With Kieran Brown on the halfway line, Lewis on the left, side-footed ball forward for Saville to try and get the end of, but that's cut out by Fabri. I should give you the San Marino team. It's Benedettini in goal, Fabri, Di Maio, Rossi, and the captain Palazzi are the defenders. Battistini, Manuel Battistini, Golinucci, Capinione, Lazzari. The midfielders Nani and Berardi up front. Northern Ireland are going to see an awful lot of the ball. Can they break down San Marino for a goal in the opening quarter? It's with captain Cathcart. Saville to Kieran Brown on the halfway line, now playing his football at Oxford. And out of his goal, Bailey Peacock Farrell. Northern Ireland will have to be patient. Long ball played looking for Washington, far too close to the goalkeeper. And an easy take by Benedettini. Yeah,
Daniel's just got to settle down. Kieran Brown and Daniel are going to see an awful lot of the ball tonight. And again, just play yourself in the game. Go and play with Conor. Go and play with Paddy McNair until it opens up. And then when there's space in front, go and step into it and be brave.
It's a long, low clearance by the San Marino goalkeeper. Just finds Daniel Ballard, the right-hand side of that defensive trio. Here's Kieran Brown on the ball. And Lewis still inside his own half. Northern Ireland playing from right to left here in the San Marino Stadium, also known as the Olympic Stadium in Serra Valley. Cathcart inside the centre circle, chips it forward, looking for Lewis to make the run. Side-footed away by Battistini. It's picked up by Saville, who's being put under pressure. I'm sure they've done their research on Saville, and they know that he's got a bit of a temper on him.
Yeah.
So they're doing their best to wind him up in the early exchanges. Bradley on the right-hand side. Cuts in field. Feeds Shea Charles. Charles turns to Cathcart. Now Brown. 21 players inside the San Marino half. Jamal Lewis again side foots it forward. That's a good turn by Saville. Gets to the byline, gets the cross into the back post. Heads are up. Paddy McNair. Great save by Benedettini. That's a good header down by McNair. Bounced up but pushed away by the goalkeeper. Still Northern Ireland on the attack. They're trying to get to the byline through Dion Charles, but he's lost the ball on the far side, and Ballard has pulled his man down. That'll be a San Marino free kick, but in the 14th minute, a good save by Benedettini to deny Paddy McNair.
Yeah, brilliant play. Great ball from Jamal Lewis. Great little turn from George. Opposite midfield player in the box. We talk about Paddy all the time, especially late runs in the midfield, from midfield, and it's a good header, good save.
That's the first chance coming in the 14th minute. Played up by San Marino up to the halfway line. Header's been one ahead of Kieran Brown. The play continues. Here's a chance. Berardi inside the penalty area. Great save by Bailey Keeper-Farrell, but yes, the flag was up because it was a mile offside.
It's a worse rule in football, Michael. I mean, anything can happen there. I just think they allow it to play out, and I think it's a ridiculous rule.
He was offside by about 3 yards.
Yeah, totally.
So the flag did eventually go up. It was a good save in the end by Bailey Peacock-Farrell. And you heard what the young fans of San Marino thought of all that. Goal is after nearly 15 minutes here in Serravalle. Brown back to his captain Cathcart. Matty Kennedy, the one man in the squad to miss out. Those late withdrawals. Chipped forward by Saville for Lewis to make a run, but it was an optimistic ball by George Saville and cut out on the right hand side of the San Marino defence and put out for a throw in. As the evening gets a little chillier. Back to Kieran Brown. Feeds Cathcart. The hopes of an early goal in the opening 10 or 15 minutes are gone, but Northern Ireland are on the attack on the left hand side, and Saville's got all tangled up and puts it out of play for a throw in on the San Marino right hand side. I would say Mr. Constantini's quite happy with the way things have started.
Yeah, he would be, because I think, you know, there's always that fear when you're obviously the home manager of an early goal against. We've threatened now. I think we've settled more in the game. Kieran Brown can step in, even that and an overload. There's no fear from anything behind him, so I think he's got to make it really create overloads, even in the centre park where he can step in and play, and down on the other side. Even now he can carry the ball. But yeah, he'll be delighted.
And that's McNair on the halfway line. Back to Craig Cathcart inside his own half. Floodlights are bright here. We're an hour ahead of you in San Marino. And Kieran Brown chips it forward, but the big central defender gets the ball away, making his debut. Di Maio, and puts it out of play on this near side, halfway inside the San Marino half. George Saville will take the throw in to Kieran Brown. It's not a great ball. Cathcart has to cut out any danger from Nani. Northern Ireland inside the San Marino half, but they do good work. The men in sky blue, they've won the ball back. He's a big bustling lad, is Nani, and he's working the ball out to this near right hand side, where Battistini's probably seen as much of the ball as any player in sky blue this evening. That's the edge of the penalty area. That's not a great first touch from Golanucci, but they're showing a little bit of initiative, San Marino, Jim.
Yeah, and they're getting runners from midfield. They're showing a little bit more encouragement on the ball.
Northern Ireland throw-in will be taken down by the corner flag by Kieran Brown, who's winning his 13th cap this evening. Up towards Washington, but immediately in was Filippo Fabbri, the right back, blonde-haired, wearing number 4. One of the ball boys having to bounce the ball, retrieve it on the running track, but a spare has been found and chipped forward by Kieran Brown. It's gone out of play. No, it hasn't, says the match officials on this near side. It's controlled by Dion Charles. Has been thrown to the ground. They're a physical side, San Marino, and that's Fabbri getting involved with Dion Charles, who makes his point. Charles makes his point to the Hungarian referee. Northern Ireland free kick inside the San Marino half. Played across to Cathcart. Now on the right hand side is Daniel Ballard. Bradley was the obvious option. Ballard eventually finds Bradley on that far side. Infield to Shea Charles. Bradley's touch was a poor one. He blocks the ball down as Conor Bradley, the goalkeeper, comes out and dives and claims the ball. They're not afraid to get stuck in, San Marino, Jim. throw themselves into challenges and tackles.
The one thing you're going to get guaranteed, Michael, is they're going to show aggression, they're going to show a bit of passion, they're going to show commitment. We got to be braver on the ball. I keep saying, Dan and Kieran have got to be braver on the ball and step in and really influence the game from there.
Nice ball forward by the blonde Lazzari. And here is Lazzari. Did that ball go out of play? He's taking on Jamal Lewis, who's won it back well, deep inside his own half. That was a poor pass though by Shea Charles, conceding possession to Battistini, the chunky little number 11. This is the blonde Lazzari. They're really up for this, San Marino. And it's hoofed out of play by Golanucci, and that'll be a Northern Ireland goal kick. Played short by Billy Peacock Farrell to Ballard. We've played nearly 20 minutes. Northern Ireland all in yellow. Currently goalless here away to San Marino in their opening qualifier in European Championship. Group H still a goalless between Denmark and Finland, Copenhagen. Jamal Lewis on the ball, halfway line, the Northern Ireland left. Cathcart. San Marino have seen 3 red cards in those 4 previous qualifiers and World Cup matches against Northern Ireland. Ballard to that far side and Bradley. Bradley has immediately got 2 blue-shirted defenders in front of him. Back to Cathcart on the halfway line. Frustrating Northern Ireland at the minute are San Marino. This is Bradley on the right. Forward looking for McNair. It's put out of play on that far side by Captain Palazzi. Michael O'Neill, quieter figure in a dark tracksuit away to our left. Black trainers with white soles watching now as his team are on the attack. It's nearly nodded into the path of a yellow shirt on the edge of the 18-yard box, but Kieran Brown has coughed up possession inside the San Marino half, and again they go racing down that right-hand side, and Battistini's gone forward, and the man on the ball has lost control of it, Berardi. And he's a frustrated figure, back playing football after operations on both of his knees, Berardi. And Northern Ireland restart quickly with Shea Charles. Out to that right-hand side, and Bradley. There's nobody in front of him at the minute. Lazzari comes across, Bradley. He's going to take him on, but immediately another defender comes in front of him as well. Infield to Shea Charles, back to Conor Bradley on that Northern Ireland right-hand side. It's a dry, chilly evening here in San Marino. Well worked to Cathcart. Chips it forward, looking for the run by Conor Bradley. Bradley, is he going to keep the ball in on that far side? No, he's not.
Yeah. And
it did take a touch for the corner, though, and he's done well to win the corner. Well, that straggly fringe of his, young Conor Bradley.
It's great. It's a good ball from Craig Cathcart. He's trying to now push that. Listen, the influence of the centre halves is huge tonight, Michael. They're going to see so much of the ball, and they have to be a little bit braver and take the initiative and step in and play. And even if Dan does step in, Conor Washington's making great runs, so he can hit that diagonal pass.
22 minutes gone. 0-0. Saville taking the corner on the right-hand side. Referee's not happy with what's going on between Dion Charles and various San Marino defenders. He's having a word with Charles, who says he's been manhandled at the moment by the captain Palazzi. Here comes the corner on the right-hand side. It's going to bounce. It misses everybody and goes out of play on the other side.
Joe, that's a great ball. A really, really good ball from Saville. And I think Craig Cathcart could be slightly disappointed. I think he's got to go and attack the ball.
Denmark are 1-up against Finland. England have taken the lead just down the road in Naples against Italy. A goal by Declan Rice in the 13th minute. So England 1-up in Naples. And Denmark have taken a first quarter lead against Finland and Copenhagen. 0-0 here in San Marino. Good header won by Captain Cathcart. Northern Ireland have, that's another foul challenge. They're really getting stuck in trying to wind Northern Ireland up. Again, they've done their homework on Saville. Hungarian referee saying no more, or he'll start issuing cards the colour of Northern Ireland's kit. That's apparently the same colour as the Harleton Wolf Cranes. Yeah. Washington gets the cross in from the right-hand side, back post, and it's a goal! At the back post, Northern Ireland have scored, and it's Dion Charles with his first goal for Northern Ireland. Great cross low across the front of the box, and he stuck his foot out, stabbed it high into the net. 24th minute, and Dion Charles has opened his Northern Ireland account. It's San Marino 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Brilliant goal, fantastic run, fantastic ball, Conor Washington, and it's a difficult finish. Michael's bounced high and he's controlled the finish fantastically well. Brilliant.
Second start for Northern Ireland. He's been a frustrated figure off the bench. A wonderful cross, bounced in front of him. He did very well to force it in high into the net on the left hand side. Goalkeeper was nowhere. And Dion Charles showing the sort of form that's got him all those goals for Bolton this season, Jim.
Fantastic, honestly, it's a great goal. Both strikers combining, ball down the side of the centre half. Fantastic, without even looking, fantastic ball. Conor Washington, great ball, and a wonderful finish, a really technically brilliant finish.
1-0 Northern Ireland, Dion Charles. So you'd like to think that might be the first of a couple or a few. Shea Charles has done well inside his own half to win the ball back. Another crunching challenge, and this could be the first card of the evening for Fabry on Saville. No, it's another chat from the Hungarian referee. The San Marino coach is making his point to the assistant referee, and play continues with Northern Ireland in possession inside their own half. Cathcart.
It's important now, shift the ball quicker. Now Dan can step on and play. Just keep moving the ball.
Here's Ballard going forward, out to Bradley, hugging that right-hand touchline. As a nice ball to McNair on the right-hand side. Defender's gone too quickly, crosses the ball. Saville, a weak header into the goalkeeper's hands. They're finding joy down that right-hand side.
Yet down the flanks, there's acres of room to play. Paddy's got in 2 or 3 times even in the early doors of this game. Same down the other side. They're definitely going to get joy. They just need to move the ball quicker.
Terrible clearance by Benedettini. Out of play on that far side in front of the Northern Ireland fans with all their flags displayed at the back of that stand. And they're making some noise now. Bit of an uncertain start for Northern Ireland. Crunching challenges coming in from San Marino. That one save to deny Paddy McNair, and then a wonderfully constructed goal. The cross from Washington converted at the back post by the outstretched right foot of Dion Charles. Here's Lewis going on a run, gets it in towards Washington. Washington has it taken off his toe inside the San Marino penalty area. Cleared upfield. Cathcart putting pressure as he's watching as Brown gets it forward and cleared anywhere. Nice touch by Shea Charles. Back with Cathcart inside his own half. Northern Ireland playing all in yellow from right to left. Here's Ballard again, as Jim Magilton was saying, crossing the halfway line. Feeding McNair. It's back with Shea Charles inside the San Marino half. So England 1 up down the road in Naples, and Denmark 1 up against Finland in Copenhagen. Saville on the left hand side. Another firm challenge coming in from Golanucci. Wins Northern Ireland the throw-in to be taken by Jamal Lewis. Lewis, who made his debut 5 years ago, almost exactly, against South Korea.
I have to say he's made a promising start, Michael, given his lack of game time.
Charles finds Dion Charles. That was Shea Charles at Dion Charles. No relations. Forward by Brown. That's a good ball for Saville. Left hand side. Lewis has gone in front of him. Saville has held off one challenge. He's almost got tackled by his own man, Lewis. Saville gets a good cross in, looking for a yellow shirt, volleyed away by Lazzari, and that's poor control by Kieran Brown on the Northern Ireland left. Out of play for San Marino. Throw in. Mr. Constantini is muttering away to himself in the edge of his technical area. Michael O'Neill, a quieter figure, just in the corner of his, making the odd point. Hands clasped behind his back. That's high into the night air by San Marino, and a hopeful ball looking for the blonde-haired Lazzari, who again slips on the surface. And it's back with Ballard, who'll just roll it to Billy Peacock Farrell. Short-sleeved orangey red top And he plays it short to his captain Craig Cathcart. Shea Charles now made himself available inside his own half. Pokes the ball forward on this left-hand side is Conor Washington. Back and fit again. Washington coming in field, finding Shea Charles, who goes down under the challenge. Play on, says the Hungarian referee. San Marino shown too much of that to Jamal Lewis, who did well to track back and get the foot in. And Lewis is on the ball now, inside the San Marino half. Back to Kieran Brown and Cathcart. Inside the centre circle, you might hear the strains of the Northern Ireland fans singing. Ball from Cathcart forward is knotted down by Washington, but it doesn't take a touch off the defender and goes out of play for the goal. Kicks overall after nearly 29 minutes. Jim Magilton, what will Michael O'Neill be thinking?
He'll be happy. He will be happy. Obviously we're a goal up, and that will be satisfying, but I just think he'll want a quicker tempo, pass the ball quicker, get... Obviously, the wing-backs have been in advanced areas. It's noticeable the two other midfield players have found themselves in those lovely little pockets in the wider areas, and they're getting a bit of joy. I just think they have to pass the ball quicker.
Offside flag is up against San Marino. Portugal won up against Liechtenstein. Bosnia-Herzegovina won up against Iceland. Goalless Slovakia, Luxembourg, goalless North Macedonia and Malta. And Denmark still one up against Finland. Northern Ireland leading here. Half an hour gone in Serra Valley. The goal was scored in the 24th minute by Dion Charles. Tidy finish at the back post after a good cross by Conor Washington. Northern Ireland now with Bradley on the right hand side. The options on the bench: Hazard and Southwood, the goalkeepers. Hume, Toll, McGeehan, Ferguson, Price, Thompson, Goss, Taylor, White and McGuinness. So a mix of experience and not an awful lot of experience. San Marino do well to win the ball back inside their own half, but that goal has knocked a little bit of the stuffing and the fight out of them. Yeah,
and if we can now, Kieran again, step in, play, I think Jamal can be a lot higher in the game.
And again, Saville and Lewis not quite on the same wavelength.
You just can get lulled in there. You know, you have to take real care with the ball and pass it with tempo, because it's slick. And it's the ball's moving very fast off the surface.
Don't forget Josh McGuinness got a couple of goals here. Northern Ireland scored 3 goals in 8 minutes in 2017 here on an awful pitch. Pitch much better as McNair inside the centre circle spreads. Just as I say that, Conor Bradley nearly slips over, and he's done well. He's got past his man. Little bit of room in front of Conor Bradley. Low cross looking for Saville, who stabs it over the bar, and that was nearly his first international goal on the occasion of his 43rd cap. He's gone close in the pass. Great run by Bradley.
Brilliant from Bradley again. Fantastic running power. It's a magic ball. Great ball. And for a midfield player arriving in the box, he's unlucky. It's kind of the story of his international career.
He has gone very close. He started at the breathtaking style in that second leg thriller in Basel, and he has come very close. His international career is at sort of dips and rises, but Saville obviously has got the nod ahead of Jordan Thompson tonight from Michael O'Neill, and there's never been any lack or doubt over his commitment. Dion Charles, there was nothing illegal in that challenge on Rossi, and Rossi has gone down. He's sort of, has he pulled a hamstring or done some damage to the back of his thigh? He's the younger of the two central defenders at a mere 35 years old. Dante Rossi, who sent off in that 10-0 thrashing by England back in 2021 here. And San Marino on the ball. We've hardly seen Capinioni on it, the number 21 central midfielder. You might hear some of the young fans enjoying themselves, making themselves heard. They cross the halfway line. San Marino chip it to the edge of the area, nodded down, and huge extravagant gestures by Nani, looking for the fella on the left hand side to join the attack. Back with Bailey Peacock Farrell, side foots it across to Cathcart. 33 minutes gone in the first half here. San Marino 0, Northern Ireland 1. Dion Charles with the goal. Kieran Brown up to the halfway line, the Northern Ireland left. Slips over as he plays that to Washington. Brown's looking at the pitch in disgust. He's receiving instructions, as is Craig Cathcart from Michael O'Neill. who's a yard outside of his technical area, and the assistant referee, I think, is just having a look. O'Neill's back inside there. Jamal Lewis is going to take this throw in to the feet of Kieran Brown. Saville again doesn't quite provide the right pass for Lewis, and it goes out of play. I think that's the third or fourth time that's happened, Jim.
Yeah, he's been sloppy in possession, and you know, Kieran Brown's played a lovely ball through the lines there, and he's just got to keep doing that and getting, as I say, you know, if we can get that little combinations in those wider areas, we'll 100% get joy.
A couple of San Marino substitutes are warming up down in front of us, or maybe they're just trying to keep warm on this chilly evening. Ball's inside the San Marino half, side-footed, out of play on this near side, caught by Kieran Brown, right in front of Michael O'Neill. He'll throw the ball to Lewis, who'll take the throw in. Lewis looking at his options. Saville's there. Shea Charles is there. He's taken a couple of yards forward, but the Hungarian referee says play on. Gets the ball back from Saville. Is with Kieran Brown. Ooh. He's lucky that pass missed Lazzari and found Paddy McNair. It's still inside the Northern Ireland half. 10 minutes left in the first half. Northern Ireland a goal to the good. The opening game of the second Michael O'Neill era. Craig Cathcart captaining the side in the absence of Stephen Davis and Johnny Evans. Forward by Kieran Brown. That's a good ball for Washington, left hand side of the area, puts it in field. Should have been more selfish, Connor Washington. Only found a blue shirt when he was looking for a yellow one. Lewis has done well to chase back and win the ball. Shea Charles has lost it in possession, illegally so, says the referee. That'll be a Northern Ireland free kick, to the disgust of coach Constantini.
And Kieran Brown settled in the game now, Michael. It's another fantastic ball. Connor Washington has got to cross the ball. People are arriving in the box. A replica of the first goal where he's just hit a space and people were attacking the ball.
Here's Ballard crossing the halfway line in the Northern Ireland right. Conor Bradley, who comes in field, he's got support on that right hand side by goal scorer Dion Charles, but good tackle coming in from Dante Rossi. Northern Ireland throw in, level with 18-yard box in Northern Ireland right. Thrown by Bradley, gets the ball back from Shea Charles. Bradley's done very well. He's taken off the toe of Saville though and cleared only as far as Kieran Brown inside the San Marino half. It was Saville with his normal number 6 on his back. Ballard, Shea Charles, back with Ballard. Back to Shea Charles, back to Ballard. They're actually moving backwards. Cathcart out to this near side, and Kieran Brown crosses the halfway line. Looks up, there are 5 or 6 yellow shirts inside him. Lovely flick by Lewis to find Saville. Lewis has continued his run. This is very good. Chip cross, headed away by the San Marino defence, only as far as Shea Charles. He feeds Bradley on this right-hand side. A little bit more impetus. A good cross, and looking for Dion Charles. And he nearly got his foot on the end of it. And it's out of play for the goal kick. There was no offside flag.
Yeah, brilliant from Shea Charles. Fantastic ball.
He was onside,
He was onside, yeah. Fantastic ball.
Again, he stuck out on this occasion his left foot. Just couldn't get in the end of it.
Again, evident. Both wing-backs high up in the game, and they're picking up that second ball.
San Marino in possession on the far left-hand side. The Green and White Army are lulled at the minute. I'm sure they would love to see a second goal before the half-time whistle is blown. Forward by San Marino, header won by Kieran Brown. Ballard volleys it away. Only finds a sky blue shirt. This is number 18 Nani, played back to Billy Peacock Farrell, who swings it out to that right-hand side. There's room in front of Daniel Ballard. Ballard winning his 17th cap this evening, playing for Sunderland these days. Again, Bradley does very well. He's been Northern Ireland's most impressive player, possibly in the opening half an hour. Bradley's won the ball back by the corner flag. The man in support is Paddy McNair, but Bradley is wriggling free. Finds McNair. Brilliant by Bradley. Here's McNair. Low cross to the back post. Side-footed away by a defender. It just had to find a yellow shirt, Jim.
He's got a gamble. Dion Charge has got a gamble there.
But again, the right-hand side for Northern Ireland is paying dividends. And Bradley shields that ball out of play. He thought he was going to get the throw in. There's a San Marino player down on the far side. It might well be, is it Rossi, the man who didn't know? It's the captain, Palazzi. who was sent off at Windsor Park back in 2016. Both Northern Ireland home games against San Marino won by 4-0. And the medical team are taking their time getting across to Palazzi.
Connor sets the tone. You know, he tries to set the tone, even early on, early seconds of the game, high in the press, wins the ball back, and really wants to drive the team forward and make things happen. Again, he's been a major influence there. I think both wing backs have done very well first half.
Jamal Lewis receiving a water bottle and a few instructions as well. This new look Northern Ireland coaching team. Jimmy Nichols still there. Aaron Hughes is involved. Jeremy O'Carroll as well. Palazzi has been patched up on the far side. Lewis and Washington exchanging a view. Washington also taking water on board. So we've got 6 minutes left to play in the first half plus stoppage time. Hasn't been a memorable 40 minutes of football so far, Jim, but if Northern Ireland leave with a clean sheet, a few more goals, be job done.
First game, you understand there's underlying tension, there's a little bit of nervousness that was evident early on. I think, you know, Michael's game plan, he knew that obviously the two centre halves were going to have plenty of the ball. It's what they were going to do it. I think they've shown more courage as the game wore on. Shea Charles has to stay patient, Michael. It's very difficult in there because he knows that the two centre halves will get the ball, and when he does get the ball, because he was a little bit sloppy in possession early on, but that was a wonderful cross, great vision.
Long ball forward, looking for the goal scorer. Big defender comes away with the ball. Di Maio, the 40-year-old. Forward by Bradley, but only finds a sky blue shirt. They're trying to work something on their left-hand side. Capinione on the halfway line. This is decent possession for the home side, and there's room on this right if they can swing the ball out. But Palazzi's not going to be found. The captain, he's made that run forward from a defensive position. And here's Lazzari. This is as much of the ball as San Marino have seen. Away by Cathcart. Still the ball inside the Northern Ireland half. Shea Charles tidies it up to Conor Bradley, gets the ball back. Side-footed pass looking for McNair, who's down under the challenge. That'll be a free kick. Still a little bit of movement, the San Marino bench. And still England 1 up in Naples, and still Denmark 1 up at home to Finland in Northern Ireland's Group H earlier on today. Slovenia came from behind to win in Kazakhstan by 2-1 in the opening match of the group. Northern Ireland Finland will be live on BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Ulster from 7:30 on Sunday evening. Ballard now inside the San Marino half. Back to Cathcart and across to Kieran Brown. Lewis. Washington and Saville in front of him. He plays the lateral pass to Shea Charles. And it's now with Craig Cathcart. There's movement from Washington. Lewis is on the ball. Immediately there is a defender near him. Northern Ireland again having to be patient. Shea Charles side foots it across, looking for McNair on that Northern Ireland right hand side. Conor Bradley has slipped. It is a tricky surface. Forward by Ballard. McNair now looking for Dion Charles, offloads it to Bradley. This is good. Dion Charles inside the penalty area, real chance, squares it. Lewis has taken his time. He should have shot. Why did Jamal Lewis not shoot, even if it wasn't his right foot? And that was an opportunity that goes a begging, and a yellow card for Kieran Brown.
Fantastic play, wonderful play again. He's got to hit it. He's got to hit it. It's come across. It's gone under his right foot. But any sort of connections to goal, I think it's a really... Is that a yellow card, Michael? You know, it probably is in the grand scheme of things, yeah. But he's allowed San Marino players off with an awful lot more than that. But this is great play. He's got to hit that.
Big opportunity.
And again, great play down that opposite flank. Conor involved again. Great chance to score another.
Should have been, well, it should have been on target. Should have been forcing Benedettini to make a save at the very least. Dion Charles goes down under the challenge on the far side. And that'll be a throw in to San Marino.
Even
if you're left, you've got to have a go, don't you, on the right peg?
It's a swinger.
Absolutely.
And he's got to just, what is he, 6 yards out?
Northern Ireland have won the ball back well on that right-hand side. Ball in field. Dion Charles on possession. He offloads very nicely there. Bradley's going to head it. Great save, diving low to his left by Benedettini. Just a minute and a half before the half-time whistle, and again it's Conor Bradley. Cracking shot. It might have been heading towards the post, but the goalkeeper was taking no chances. Northern Ireland corner kick there, right-hand side.
But even it's so inviting for Conor Washington on his left-hand side to go and centre goal, go and have a shot on goal. But again, it's great that Conor's up with the play.
Last minute of normal time in the first half. Northern Ireland corner on the right-hand side. Kieran Brown's making his point to the referee, Mr. Bogart from Hungary. George Saville standing over this corner on the right-hand side. He'll play it across, and eventually it comes to Shea Charles. And it's back on the right-hand side. The cross is going to come in towards Kieran Brown. Its header's been won by Dion Charles, who's scrabbling for the ball. It's cleared as far as Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side. Cross comes in from Lewis, cleared by the San Marino defence as far as Paddy McNair. And I think the danger has been cleared by San Marino, but Northern Ireland finishing strongly here.
What a fantastic ball from Paddy McNair. Wonderful ball.
Here's Lewis on the left-hand side. Northern Ireland really don't want the half-time whistle to go. 1-0 up. This is Saville on the left-hand side. Craig Cathcart on the centre spot. We'll play at least 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Lewis goes down under the Kieran Brown goes down on the challenge again. I think that was the pitch. And it's back with Bailey Peacock Farrell. England now 2-0 up against Italy in Naples. Unless VAR intervenes there, England will go up to 2-0 in at half-time against Italy. Of course, the European champions who didn't qualify for the World Cup, Northern Ireland, had something to do with that. Kieran Brown, ball in field to Cathcart. Inside the centre circle. Big gestures from Jim Magilton, wanting the ball moved. Here's Saville. 2 defenders in front of him. Feeds Lewis on the left-hand side. Again, those 2 defenders provide a sky blue wall. Lewis is able to find Kieran Brown. And Cathcart to Shea Charles. We've played 1 of the additional minutes. Daniel Ballard. McNair forward. Can he get the ball back from Dion Charles? Charles has done well to shield that ball and find Bradley. And back with Ballard. Ballard looking at his options. Well, take it off the toe of it's frustrating. Take it off the toe of Dion Charles.
It's just balls are coming into Craig. He's just got to shift it early out to Daniel Ballard. And if it comes from Ballard to Craig, he's got to get to Kieran Brown quicker.
Harry Kane penalty just before half-time was the second England goal. Here come Northern Ireland again down the right-hand side with Conor Bradley. Back with Ballard, infield to Shea Charles. We've got about 20 seconds left to play in the first half. Kieran Brown feeds Lewis. Back with Brown. I think the next blast of the referee's whistle will send the players back into the dressing rooms. And there it is from Hungarian referee Mr. Bogart. A couple of seconds over the 2 additional minutes. Billy Peacock Farrell, the only save he had to make was from a shot from a man who was in an offside position by about 3 yards. Northern Ireland have done all the pressing. They've had plenty of joy down that right-hand side. Conor Bradley, Paddy McNair seeing a lot of the ball, and it was a well-worked move in the 24th minute. Jim Magilton that saw Conor Washington feeding his strike partner Dion Charles at the back post, who stabbed in his first international goal. Overall, will Michael O'Neill be happy?
He'll be happy, yes. You're going in, first game back, a lot of nervous tension, start of a qualifying campaign. He'll be asking for more, certainly, better quality, especially from his 2 centre halves. They've emerged better in the game. They've shown more confidence with the ball. I think if they move the ball quicker and keep getting in those areas and keep crossing balls, there's goals to be had.
Should make the point that Paddy McNair is playing with a clear plastic mask on his face to protect himself. The other great opportunity did fall to Paddy McNair in the 14th minute. Great header, well saved by the San Marino goalkeeper.
Yeah, brilliant. Two central midfield players have had two opportunities to score goals. Saville one, Paddy McNair another, where we feel he's more accomplished. Listen, there's lots of positives. Can they be better? 100%, Michael. Can they improve their quality? Yes. But, the game plan in terms of getting in the wide areas, getting the wing-backs high up in the pitch, I think it's worked overall.
Is this a night to see debuts for the likes of maybe, I don't know, Owen Toll, Isaac Price, Sean Goss? You know some of these young fellas quite well, don't you?
Goss, McGeehan, Price, yes. McGeehan will nick you a goal, most certainly. Jordan Thompson has got great creativity, yes.
Dale Taylor
will get you a goal, certainly. The combination of Washington and Charles has certainly worked. It has certainly worked. Connor Washington, especially late on, across the ball. Yeah, this is not a night for dressing things up. This is a night for making the goalkeeper work. And with that slick surface, anything can happen. That ball gets fizzed across that 6-yard box, ricochets or whatever, and Jamal Lewis should score. Or at least have an attempt on goal. So again, lots of positives.
The thoughts of Jim Magilton, 52 Northern Ireland caps, former captain, 5 goals as well. But at half-time here in the Olympic Stadium in Serra Valley, it's a first international goal for Dion Charles, and it's San Marino 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Michael, Jim, thank you very much for that. We'll get the thoughts of Keith Gillespie and John O'Neill before the second half kicks off. But first, for those of you who have been patiently waiting, here's the BBC News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
It's 36 minutes past 8. I'm Harry McCarthy. A 30-year-old woman has been found guilty of murdering her 8-week-old son and attempting to murder his 2-year-old sister in July 2021. The woman cannot be named to protect the identity of her surviving child. Kelly Bonner has more.
The defendant placed her head in her hands and sobbed no as the jury read out the guilty verdict. It took them 5.5 hours to find the 30-year-old guilty of murdering her 8-week-old son and attempting to murder her 2-year-old daughter. The juror broke down as she read the guilty verdict and had to sit down to compose herself. When handing down the life sentence, the judge said, "This has been a very difficult and stressful case," and she will be excusing the jury from jury service for the rest of their lives.
The president of the World Athletics, Lord Coe, has announced that transgender athletes who have gone through male puberty will no longer be able to compete in female track and field events. The ban will come into force at the end of the month. Lord Coe said the decision had been taken because of what he called the overarching need to protect the female category. The former Olympic swimmer, Sharon Davies, explained why a ban was the right way forward.
If we have a 15-year-old, they don't get to identify as being under 12. If we have a heavyweight boxer, they don't get to identify as a lightweight. In Paralympic sport, we have several categories to try and create fair sport across the Paralympics. This is just about fair sport. It's not about banning anyone.
A Premier League footballer being investigated over 2 allegations of rape has been questioned by police after a third person accused him of a sexual offence. Scotland Yard said the interview took place under caution last month. A tradesman who showed callous disregard to dozens of victims who he defrauded by taking money and doing shoddy or unfinished work has been given a 12-month suspended sentence. 49-year-old Stephen Stewart, originally from Larne but with a bail address at a hostel on the Saintfield Road in Belfast, admitted defrauding 59 people, many of which were vulnerable and elderly, out of £58,990. And in football, at half-time, Northern Ireland are currently leading 1-0 away to San Marino in their first Euro qualifying games. And with weather, here's Jeff Maskell.
Cloudy with a few showers through the first part of the night, turning drier later with a few clear spells through the early hours, staying breezy with lows of 4 to 7 Celsius. Friday is cloudy with showers through the morning, turning heavier by the afternoon with longer spells of rain and the chance of thunder. It is mild though with highs of 8 to 11 Celsius.
BBC News.
Brilliant International Football with Joel Taggart.
Yes, so welcome back. Half-time in Serravalle. It is San Marino 0, Northern Ireland 1. Dion Charles scoring his first international goal. The other games in the group, if you missed it, it finished earlier today. Kazakhstan 1, Slovenia 2. And at half-time, Denmark lead Finland by a goal to 0. Elsewhere, lots of records being broken all over the place. In particular, Harry Kane. He is now the goal-scoring record is his. He's taken it from Wayne Rooney. 54 goals. He has scored the second goal for England in Italy. They lead 2-0 in Naples, which is quite a half-time scoreline, you have to say. And other goals tonight, Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0 up against Iceland, and Portugal 1-0 up against Liechtenstein. We keep you across all of those results. This is the first double-header in the qualifiers. It'll all end next summer in Germany with 24 teams at the European Championship finals. Northern Ireland's group, 2 teams will qualify, top 2. They will go through to the next round. Michael O'Neill is back. Northern Ireland are in front. Keith Gillespie and John O'Neill have been watching the first half with me. John, what have you made of it?
It was a slow start, Joel. I think the pitch is awful. The players on both sides have been slipping all over the place. But the Northern Ireland side have got progressively better. I think on the left-hand side, Brown and Lewis have been performing quite well. They set... who was it down the left-hand side? Was it Saville got the cross in? McNair got a header in. Didn't get enough power on it. And then on the other side, you had Ballard linking up with Charles and Bradley. And the goal came from there. It was a good cross in, and it was a difficult one for Charles to finish, but he finished it well. And since then, it's been on Northern Ireland. The final ball hasn't been great, but San Marino have offered nothing at all. We haven't seen anything at all of Peacock Farrell. So I think they'll be pleased, but I think there's room for improvement. But certainly from the end of the last campaign, this is much, much better.
Yeah, and you know, when you pick a shape that gives you a front two, Keith, it's probably nice as a manager and a coaching staff to see the two link up, and it's Washington who puts the cross in for Charles to score the only goal of the game so far.
Yeah, I think if we were going to score, it was going to come down that right, because they've linked up quite well. And Connor Washington, he doesn't even look up. He sort of just knows the area to put it in, and
he puts it into an area where he would love somebody.
Yeah,
to
exactly
for him.
Exactly. If you say he doesn't even look up, he knows the area to put it in, and he knows Dion Charles is going to be there. So, Michael will be delighted that's working. But I think at times we can be a little bit quicker with passing, a little bit braver, because we know we're going to get it back. This team are, awful. As John said, they offer nothing, and the record speaks for itself over the years. They are there, for the taking. We need to be, put more.
I'd like to see more of Shea Charles, Keith. I think he's good on the ball,
yeah.
Joel, but I think the lad needs to that little bit more confidence about himself, Joel, because sometimes he's picking out the easy pass when he should be really looking, instead of going back, maybe going out towards the wing backs, and try and get us going. I think he will improve as he gets older.
He nearly gets another goal for Dion Charles, doesn't he? He puts a great ball in towards the back post area, and Charles is just stretching, trying to reach it, and he just can't get there.
Get it. And the other one was the one that came across for Jamal Lewis, who really should have took it with his right foot instead of trying to draw it onto his left. So there's the little half chances, but they're starting to create chances. And I would say that at half time, the manager will be very pleased. He will probably give them a good pat on the back and say, now we've got to take this a little bit forward, get a second goal and put this game to bed.
He's only had them for 2 days, like that. Let's be brutally honest. a couple of days training. They met up on Sunday. They probably travelled one of the days, so they've had 2.5 days together. And one of the things that you've noticed, Keith, you'll have liked this down the right hand side, that little triangle between Shea, Charles, McNair and Bradley looks to have a bit of potential, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Paddy McNair's got great legs, and he's running into those channels down the right at times, and Conor Bradley as well is travelling with the ball. That's what we need from our sort of wing backs, being further up the pitch, because when they win the ball, they can't keep it. So if our fullbacks or our wing backs can be further up the pitch, when we win it back, that's half the battle.
And you were right, as you said earlier, Keith, get it into the front two that little bit quicker.
Exactly.
Play off them.
Yeah, I mean, if you can be brave against San Marino,
Well, I was saying, if you get the likes of Charles playing it into Washington or into Dion Charles, McNair will play off them.
Exactly, because he's a good runner off them. And we mentioned, at the start, he's always in that right place in the box, and he was close in the first half as well with a header, where he's arriving sort of late. So it hasn't, we're talking like doom and gloom. We're 1-0 up here, but
we're playing a team that's 311th out of 211, and the country has the population roughly of the size of Portadown.
Exactly.
But having said that, we've struggled against Cyprus, we've struggled against Kosovo, and bad enough San Marino are.
I think these are a lot worse than those two teams. They've sort of improved over the years. Where San Marino, probably gone backwards.
John was fascinated by this former central defender, of course, that he is. We mentioned before the game Roberto Di Maio making his debut for San Marino at the age of 40 and 186 days. And we're saying about all these records that are being broken all over the place, and Harry Kane is another of these. I dread to think who the last person was at that age who made their international debut. But I mean, Keith made. I was just going to come back and say the point that Keith made just when the match started. How do you feel if you're a young San Marino footballer who plays that position? It's not as if this is the difference between qualifying or not qualifying for San Marino, and you're a young lad. You're starting out in your international career. And you see that they've got someone, I think Michael referenced the fact that this player may have actually changed nationality from Italian to make their debut at 40 years of age. I mean, that must be pretty demoralising for you.
Yeah, absolutely. As a young lad, I know it's only San Marino, but you obviously want to play for your country, and a young lad seeing a pensioner pretty much coming in. And
not quite.
We were saying before the game, again, Keith, we were saying that, how do you turn up for San Marino every time when you're losing left, right and centre? It could be a situation, Joel, where the kids are saying, I don't want this, and they're going and doing different things, and they could be struggling to get somebody to play for them.
Yeah, I mean...
he came up with a good point as well. They've got a chance of a father and a son playing in the same team if you're looking at that age group.
Is there any chance of you coming up with a good point, John? I mean, he's coming up with all the good points. It's in case you missed it at the start of the programme, 152 qualifiers in World Cup and European Championship, no wins, 3 draws, 149 defeats. So something has to change. But imagine overlooking this lad. I mean, he could be the one that got away, Keith. Could have overlooked him for the last, 23 years.
Not on tonight's performance.
He could have been the saviour of San Marino football.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's a sort of household name elsewhere.
Listen, the players are coming out for the second half. And it just proves, isn't it? Hope yet for Jim Chilton. I'd say there's a good 7 minutes left in the tank for Jim. I remember, are you there, Jim? Are you listening to all of this? Probably not. Probably fast asleep. I do remember Jim turning up to play for the a great match, the Northern Ireland Legends against the Queen's Park Rangers Legends. And it was a game that Jim starred in for all of 20 minutes. I always remember Jackie Fullerton very cruelly announcing over the tannoy, wearing number 6, 7 and 8. Jim Magilton was very harsh, I thought. Anyway, now Jim's alongside Michael McNamee for the second half.
Well, he's not actually here at the moment because
he's gone to see if he can change nationality.
Advancing years. Actually, he's the same age as me.
Has he offered himself to the San Marino coach? Has he?
He's claimed to have a granny from Sarah Valley. Yes. He will be with us shortly. Here he is. I think that's almost a sprint. They were slagging you off, Jim. Grab that microphone there. Did you wash your hands okay?
I certainly did.
There we are.
I found a half a yard there.
Half a yard. Right, we're about to get underway, gents. Northern Ireland, I don't think any changes at half-time. I think San Marino have made a couple. They've brought on the experienced, slightly more experienced Chevoli, central defender, and Toosey as well. So they made changes at the back. And I wonder, is our 40-year-old debutant no longer there? No, he's still there. They've certainly made changes at the back, but Northern Ireland with Peacock, Farrell in goal, wing-backs of Bradley and Lewis, a defensive trio of Ballard, Cathcart and Brown, midfielders McNair on the right, Shea Charles in the middle, Saville on the left, with goal scorer Dion Charles and Washington up front. And Northern Ireland are all in yellow, this new kit. And they are in possession. They're attacking the goal away to our right. We're not quite on the halfway line here in the Olympic Stadium in Serra Valley. And Shea Charles is inside the centre circle. Barely Peacock Farrell's away in the distance in his ready claret goalkeeping outfit. What's the opinion on the all-yellow, Jim Magilton?
Bright.
Well, you're going to pick lads up, aren't you, in the floodlights? You can say that about a yellow kit. And it's the men all in sky blue, light blue, San Marino, who have thrown themselves about. I suppose all they can do is try and frustrate and keep it at 0-0 for as long as possible, and they were successful for about 23 minutes before Dion Charles scored that opening goal. And they're playing ball up and chested down by Nani. He's certainly got a barrel chest and a bit of a temper on him. He's thrown himself into challenges in the first half. It's with Shea Charles. It's chested down by Saville on that Northern Ireland left-hand side. And he's down under the challenge of Battistini, and that'll be a free kick awarded by Mr. Bogar, the Hungarian referee. We do have VAR operating, but there were no real calls in the first half. There was an offside decision that was easy enough to make. 3 yards offside, San Marino were, as McNair gets that cross in that's side-footed out of play on this near side. A reminder of the options on the bench for Northern Ireland: Hazard and Southwood, the goalkeepers, Hume, Toll, Thompson, McGeehan, Ferguson, Price, Goss, Taylor, White, McGuinness. Now it's Conor Bradley who wins the throw-in on this near side, the Northern Ireland right. The ball boy rather disdainfully bounces a fresh football towards Conor Bradley, who's asking for some movement from the man wearing that clear plastic mask, Paddy McNair. Eventually throws it to Dion Charles, who goes down under the challenge. That's Dion Charles, hands out on his knees, appealing. Said, what do I have to do to win a free kick? Wasn't given. Throw in taken quickly on this near side by Daniel Ballard. Harry Kane, that penalty before half-time, breaking the England men's goal-scoring record. Northern Ireland with 4 potential debutants on the bench. Shea Charles does well to wriggle past the challenge. This is Bradley back and gets the ball back. Brilliant from Shea Charles to find Bradley. Cross in by Bradley at the back post, beats everybody. Picked up by Lewis. The danger and threat might still be there. George Saville outside the penalty area, trying to slot it back to Lewis. Eventually does find him on that far left-hand side. But 1,000 Northern Ireland fans watching Lewis get to the byline and win a corner kick, Jim Magilton.
Brilliant play from Shea and Conor. Lovely combination. It's a great ball too. And noticeable again, Shea, early on in the first half, started the game, gave the ball away sloppily. Plays on the half-turn, Michael, very quickly, and it's a great pass.
Northern Ireland corner from the left-hand side. McNair will take it. It's an in-swinger. It's played down to Saville, who's going to hit it. Doesn't strike it well, bobbles it into the ground. Here's McNair, though, on the left-hand side. Gets the ball back to Lewis, who curls it in, looking for Ballard. Bradley can't get on it. Northern Ireland are looking for this second goal early in the second half. Well done, Shea Charles. Cut out by the defender, though. You can hear the young fans in front of us. I think they're on freebies tonight. Lazzari has the ball taken away from him by Conor Bradley, who I think at the minute is player of the match for Northern Ireland, Jim.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding game. Going back to Saville, you're not going to get a better chance, Michael. You know, ball coming to you, running onto it, and you're absolutely spot on. He bobbles it.
He's so desperate to get that 0 off his Northern Ireland track record. Denmark still 1-up in Copenhagen against Northern Ireland's opponents on Sunday, Finland. Easily cut out by Ballard for Northern Ireland. Ballard will play this back to Bailey Peacock Farrell. He's been thrown to the floor after he played the ball, Ballard, and that'll be a free kick. Kieran Brown, the only man so far in the referee's notebook. Bradley on the right. It wasn't a great first touch. He just has to clear it up, looking for Paddy McNair. The ball's going to break for San Marino. Who's making the challenge? A clumsy one, but Conor Bradley. And the San Marino player is slapping the ground. I think he's trying to get Bradley yellow carded. as it is. Lorenzo Capignoni is waving his legs in the air. His appeals to the referee haven't worked. I think he's going to be fit enough to continue. And lo and behold, he is. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I think there was an awful lot in that, Michael.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. I think simulation was the other word you would use. Bosnia-Herzegovina now 2-0 up against Iceland. Portugal remain 1-0 up against Liechtenstein in their group. Long ball played forward by San Marino, well cut out by Shea Charles. But Northern Ireland lost the ball through Saville, and the game's got a little bit scrappy. Side-footed forward by Kieran Brown, chested down by San Marino on the halfway line. Lazzari, who's one of their more capable players, is on the ball now, edge of the area. He's going to have a pop and goal, and it bounces once in front of Bailey Peacock-Farrell for an easy save. I think that's the first he's had to make this evening. Wasn't hit with any great venom. Bounced in front of the goalkeeper, and an easy take. Here's Shea Charles in possession for Northern Ireland, just keeping an eye on Michael O'Neill. There's barely any movement from the Northern Ireland manager in his technical area. Watching as his captain for the night, Craig Cathcart, plays it out to that left hand side. Lewis infield to Saville, linking up well with Connor Washington. Back by Lewis. Brown to Cathcart. We'll just slow down. Saville gets the ball back on that left-hand side. It's Kieran Brown with a distinctive hairstyle. Saville links up well with Lewis by the corner flag. Can he get a decent ball in? He can. He's going to leave it. Is Washington to McNair, who does very well to juggle the ball past two defenders. Eventually it is cleared. Header won by Saville. The ball still inside the San Marino half. Brilliantly won back by who else but Conor Bradley. Ball infield to the man with the mask, Paddy McNair. This is Bradley again, brilliant from him. McNair with a cross, he drills it, and he drills it waywardly, and it's out of play on that far side. But again, great link-up play between Bradley and McNair.
Both wing backs, you know, when the ball's landed to Jamal, he sees a picture early, does everything first time, he injects that little bit of pace. See him the other side with Connor. It's a lovely little give and go. Paddy Kerr just Kerr on the ball. John did comment at half-time about just that quality, especially in that final third, where a little bit more quality and you're scoring goals.
That second goal will just relieve some of the nerves. Might encourage Michael O'Neill to look down at his substitutes bench as well. Long ball played forward by San Marino, and that's going to just drift out of play for a corner on the far side. And their sort of early fire and brimstone approach has sort of faded away, and the goal did knock the stuffing out of them a wee bit.
Yeah, the quicker you move the ball from side to side, those gaps will open up for you. And at just at times we're labouring. Even now, Kieran, pass the ball quicker. One touch, two touch, pass the ball, get Connor higher up the park, and all of a sudden now Paddy's in.
Ballard feeds Bradley, and not a great ball by Shea Charles out of play on this near side. Michael O'Neill gesticulating. His technical area. Mr. Constantini is quieting down in his shiny shoes and his bald pate. This is his 11th game in charge of San Marino. I don't know what you do as San Marino manager. You're not going to suddenly find a world-class player hiding somewhere in the micro state. Now they're almost architects of their own downfall. San Marino, edge of their own penalty area. It's well headed back in the end by the substitute Tosi to the goalkeeper, all in green, Benedettini, who did make a wonderful save in the first half to deny Paddy McNair. And we've played 10 minutes in the second half. Northern Ireland still leading through that Dion Charles goal to 0. Well done by Ballard, chested down on the halfway line, wins the challenge as well, feeds the man skipping down the left-hand side, and a good cross to the back post. Dion Charles has scored a second, a headed goal, great run down the left-hand side by Jamal Lewis. And Charles, it wasn't the most convincing header, a worse piece of goalkeeping. Goalkeeper flapping at it, a scrappy goal, but Dion Charles is on a hat-trick. We played 10 minutes in the second half. San Marino 0, Northern Ireland 2.
Yeah, brilliant. Ballard wins the ball, goes and joins in. Great ball. Jamal Lewis does fantastic. He's had a really good 60 minutes, 55 minutes. Great ball, great pick out. And you know, okay, you can blame the goalkeeper, but good header, and listen, just the tempo, different tempo. You know, these are so bang average. The goalkeeper chucked it in. They've got to increase the tempo and a bit more quality, and you win the game by a hatful.
I was maybe doing Dion Charles at this service. He had a dive, and he dived well. A shocking piece of goalkeeping. A very dramatic dive by Benedettini, but it was brilliantly worked by Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side. Well finished by Dion Charles, and it's 2-0. And Charles is on a hat-trick, and I did make a note of the last Northern Ireland hat-trick. David Healy 2007, March 2007 against Liechtenstein. And the ball is back with Kieran Brown, who rolls it to his goalkeeper Bailey Peacock Farrell. And you think now there might be one or two more.
Yeah, but I really feel that, Michael. This is a really important time in the game. This is really putting your foot down now on the pedal and really making this team pay.
Shea Charles out to Conor Bradley on this right-hand side. Ballard back infield to Craig Cathcart. To Brown. Saville infield to Shea Charles. Back to Brown. Bailey Peacock Farrell has made himself available, but instead the ball across the park to Craig Cathcart. Still England 2-0 up in Naples against the European champions Italy. San Marino have snuffed out the danger on their right-hand side, but they've coughed the ball up to Jamal Lewis, who suddenly found a little bit of confidence having set up that goal. This is Conor Bradley, not short of confidence at all. Lovely offload to Paddy McNair on the byline, wins the corner. Suddenly it's all happening a little bit more pace and conviction, Jim.
Yeah, and again, Paddy doesn't have to take a touch. You know, he just cross the ball, hit that space. Anything can happen, but a lovely combination of play again, and Jamal Lewis again has shown both wing backs. Jamal Lewis in particular has had, you know, he's really taken up really good positions.
Corner, Northern Ireland right hand side, taken by Saville. Curls it to the back post. Everybody's jumping. It might fall for Jamal Lewis. They'll swing the ball back out to Saville on the right-hand side. Controls it well. Feeds Paddy McNair. He's really enjoying himself now. It deflects off the defender. High into the 6-yard box. Rattled by Bradley and blocked. That was heading into the net from Conor Bradley. Here's Lewis getting the byline. Squares it. Chance now. Side-footed. And deflected wide. Thought that was in. Brilliant. So did the goalkeeper.
Brilliant. Again, the wing-backs high up in the game. Conor Bradley's fantastic strike. Great block. And then Jamal Lewis tries to work. And Kieran Brown it was.
Well, the side-footed shot came in from Washington. Was it? Was it Brown?
Kieran, yeah.
There's a lot of players in that penalty area. It was deflected away from the corner. From the corner, Northern Ireland have got the ball to Paddy McNair, popping up on the left-hand side. Right-footed ball in, taking a touch off the defender, chested down to Jamal Lewis. Suddenly everybody wants to be in there. Rocket of a shot from Conor Washington. Wasn't too far away. This is much more like it, Jim.
Yeah, front foot, really positive. Got a couple of legs, Michael. You know, it's a really important part of the game, as I say.
Yeah, it was just a foot and a half over the bar. They're about to make another change. The hugely experienced Danilo Rinaldi on for his 50th cap up front. And he's replacing a guy who's been a bit of a isolated figure, Filippo Berardi. Finland have equalised in Copenhagen, so it's 1-1 between Denmark and Finland. Ant-Man with the goal on 53 minutes, so 1-1 between Denmark and Finland. Would you take that, Jim?
Take it all day long.
If two of the leading sides in the group, if it stayed like that, we'd be dropping points on match day one. We've played 15 minutes in the second half here. Northern Ireland leading by 2-0, both scored by Bolton Wanderers' Dion Charles. Here's Shea Charles. Holds off the challenge inside the San Marino half. Saville out to Lewis. Lewis, the defender. Battistini keeping a close eye. He's able to get the ball back to Brown, to his goalkeeper Bailey Peacock Farrell, and Northern Ireland will try down this right-hand side with Ballard. Instead, he goes infield to Craig Cathcart, the captain. And across to the left-hand side again with Brown. Brown chips an adventurous ball forward for Dion Charles, but the flag goes up. A spectacular punch by Elia Benedettini. His granny must be in the crowd taking photographs, because he didn't need to dive after punching the ball in such a dramatic fashion, and his dive to try and stop Dion Charles, the second goal, was
after the ball was in the net, Michael.
Yeah, hints of comedy, more than a few. Still keeping an eye on the Northern Ireland bench. Don't see any signs of movement. Half an hour left to play. 2-0 to Northern Ireland in San Marino. Lazzari inside the Northern Ireland half. Good challenge coming in from Charles. Shea Charles, that is. Again, Conor Bradley slips. John O'Neill's right. It's not a great surface here. Maybe some players haven't got the right footwear on. It's not cutting up, but it's just very slippery. Craig Cathcart.
These modern day players, you see.
Oh, don't start. These plastic boots. They're doing the bouncing on the far side, the Northern Ireland Green and White Army. They think there's a few more goals in this game yet. Might maybe inspired by Conor Bradley. He's giving the ball back to Daniel Ballard. Cathcart on the halfway line. Ballard to Bradley. Back to Ballard. And back to Billy Peacock Farrell. The songbook is being dug out. The 2016 Euro songbook. It's like the good old days are back. Wow, Bradley's lost the ball. Tozy, the substitute, in field. That's one of the other subs just on Rinaldi. Spreads it to the left-hand side. Tozy with a cross in, easily side-footed away at the front post. And headed on by Dion Charles, who takes a tumble on the halfway line. He's clutching his... What's he clutching? He's still down, is Dion Charles. Looks to be in some discomfort. He will want to stay on for the last 28 minutes.
Yeah.
There was a high foot caught him in the head. We're seeing a replay of the goal as Lewis made the run, and was an odd piece of goalkeeping, shall we say, but a firm header in the end by Charles. And he is on a hat-trick. Ball is back with the man of drama, Benedettini, all in green. And San Marino all in at the light blue, playing from right to left. They forced Billy Peacock Farrell to make, you would probably say, half a save so far. Northern Ireland have won it back with Saville on that left-hand side. Tries to find Jamal Lewis. It's taken away by Lewis, but it's an aimless ball. And San Marino are running out of steam here. Northern Ireland have really got to go for the jugular and score a few more.
Just tempo, Michael, especially now, the back three. Pass the ball. We were spinning things in behind them. This is important now. Has to play forward.
Shea Charles finds Saville. Infield to Washington, turned nicely. Washington, Charles trying to get Charles in for the hat-trick, but the defender clears the ball on the penalty spot. Well won back by Ballard. Shea Charles finding McNair, and he's been pushed to the floor. Charles pushed wide, and he pushes the ball out of play for the corner kick. Still 1-1 in Copenhagen between Denmark and Finland, and Italy have got a goal back in Naples as the lad from Argentina, the new striker Retegui, on 56 minutes. Italy 1, England 2. Italy quite happy to go down the eligibility route along with everybody else. Jim Chilton trying to find some firepower. Roberto Mancini. So it's 2-1 England in Naples. Clearance by the San Marino goalkeeper. We are going to see a double change here for Northern Ireland. We are going to see certainly Cameron McGeehan wearing number 8, and also Josh McGuinness. Two fellas at differing ends of international experience. Cross coming in from San Marino. It was harem-scarum stuff. In the end, Northern Ireland do well to clear. It might just break nicely for George Saville on the halfway line. We're going to see this double change in a second when the ball goes out of play. But here's Jamal Lewis keeping the ball infield to Conor Washington. The ball is cleared away from it. Might break very nicely for Lewis on the left-hand side. Lewis crosses, can't find a yellow shirt. And San Marino have the ball on the far side. So Kieran McGeehan, a man who has been was called up to the senior squad but pulled out of that trip to Panama and Costa Rica a few years ago, has played underage for Northern Ireland. Josh McGuinness will be coming on to win his 70th cap the same night as Craig Cathcart's 70th cap. And they're all joined there by the absent Corey Evans, who is on 70 caps. So the blonde mop of Cameron McGeehan will get on for the last sort of 23-24 minutes of this game as Northern Ireland are looking for the third goal. Washington in the edge of the area finds Paddy McNair. McNair got past one, past two. Bradley's going to strike it well, blocked by the defender. Another great drive by Bradley was just blocked by a blue-shirted defender. Chipped forward by Lazzari. That'll be another flag, you would have thought, as the man is bearing down and goal, and the flag is up.
It's the worst rule, honestly, it's the worst rule.
The ball was put into the net by Nicola Nani.
It drives me crazy, this rule. He's offside, he's well offside, and then he waits to play it out. Kieran Brown could make a last-ditch tackle and actually get himself hurt, Michael. It's a ridiculous rule.
So Washington's going off for McGuinness with 23 minutes left to play. And Ballard is going off for Kieran McGeehan, Cameron McGeehan.
Number 4, Daniel Ballard, with number 8, Cameron McGeehan.
So that has obviously brought a change or two, Jim.
Yeah, so Paddy's going to slip back into a back three, where he's playing every week for Middlesbrough, so that's no problem for him. And actually, he'll get an awful lot more ball, and he'll be able to make full use of that. McGeehan, I know very well. Cam was in the under-21s. He'll nick a goal. He'll run into the box. He'll certainly create opportunities.
Now playing his club football for Belgium, former Barnsley midfielder. Playing for Ostend, so he's a true Ostender, Cameron McGeehan. Born in Kingston in London. And here he is, the blonde mop of hair. He's wearing the number 8 jersey that's been filled by Stephen Davis for the last 15 years or so. And that's Lewis on the left-hand side has been tackled. And the two new boys, McGuinness and McGeehan, have got 23 minutes in which to make an impact. And it's McGeehan's senior international debut, 5 years on from not quite making that squad for Panama and Costa Rica. Pulled out with an injury. And the man who's on a hat-trick goes down under a challenge. That'll be Northern Ireland free kick halfway inside the San Marino half. And the spray has been applied just in front of the ball by the Hungarian referee. And it's McNair, Saville and Bradley standing over this. And the referee will put the spray 10 yards down. There's going to be 3 men in the San Marino wall. It's on the Northern Ireland right as they're looking at it. Let's see what Northern Ireland can conjure from this set piece. It looks as if it's going to be Bradley. Chips it forward, looking for a yellow shirt. That's a turn and a firing shot again by Dion Charles, again blocked. And a San Marino player's got down. Again in agony, clutching his left legs. Dion Charles's contribution to that incident is not appreciated by Tosi. And it's all just getting a little bit tempestuous. But I think Northern Ireland are determined to try and create a chance for Dion Charles to get his hat-trick.
Yeah, listen, at this part of the game, this time of the game, you know, we did need changes. Michael's brought 2 attack-minded players on. I think we just got to drive that advantage home.
So out comes the San Marino goalkeeper, Benedettini, to take this free kick, right-footed. Puts it down the left-hand side. Header well won by Paddy McNair. Drilled forward by Bradley. Looking for the chasing Josh McGuinness, a man who delights in scoring late goals. Scored quite a few as a substitute as well. Ball flicked towards Lazzari. There's McNair in his defensive role, has taken a tumble. He's taken a knock as Paddy McNair. He's got back to his feet, and play will continue. Just for a moment, I thought he was in some pain but he's fit to continue. Long ball cleared upfield by the San Marino goalkeeper. They win the header inside the Northern Ireland half. You can hear the school children, they're still awake. That's good. Ball down that left hand channel by Tosin. Infield to the number 21, who's going to take a shot, and it's going to deflect and spin away, and well, eventually clutched by Billy Peacock Farrell from the Capiccione midfielder. And there's a bit of cramp on the far side for Jamal Lewis, a fellow who has played very little club football for Newcastle. So I think we're going to see another double change from Northern Ireland with 20 minutes left to play. Lewis is being pulled to his feet, and we are going to see the man who scored the first goal of the first Michael O'Neill era, one of the survivors from the Euros. Shane Ferguson is going to come on, as is Jordan Thompson, who Michael O'Neill obviously knows very well, signed him at Stoke City, and they're coming on for the last 20 minutes. And San Marino making a change as well. The other Battistini brother, Michael Battistini, is coming on, and he's replacing Capiccione. Michael's a midfielder winning his 20th cap, and Michael O'Neill is making very firm points to Conor Bradley and to Paddy McNair, both of whom have taken on a little bit of water, and we're still waiting for this double change to be effected. Jordan Thompson with his arms outstretched to say, what's going on, why can't we get on here? And play is going to continue without the Northern Ireland substitutions being made. Play is continuing. San Marino were able to bring a man on, but the two Northern Ireland players are still waiting on the edge of the pitch. Yeah, well, play continues. Paddy McNair to McGeehan on the right hand side. McGeehan's 27 years old. Shea Charles out to Saville. Jamal Lewis has shaken off that cramp and linked up well with Saville on the left hand side, looking for Josh McGuinness, and wins the corner on that left. And we will get the double change now, I would have thought.
And that combination's worked really well tonight between the two of them.
Well, Saville wanted to take the corner quickly because I think he knew that the number 6 was being held up. And no surprise that Shane Ferguson will replace Jamal Lewis.
Number 6, George Saville.
Pat in the back for
15,
Shane Ferguson.
And number 3, Jamal Lewis. At number 11.
Got that goal against Finland in 2012. 57th cap for Ferguson.
Jamal Lewis has played well tonight. Okay, the opposition hasn't been great, but his energy, his pace, his quality has shone through as well. So he should be very proud of his performance, given that he has had no game time.
There's a couple of appearances for Newcastle United. He's not featuring at all in the plans of Eddie Howe. Needs a club. Northern Ireland corner from the left hand side. Lots of movement inside that penalty area. Doesn't beat the first San Marino defender. Jordan Thompson on for his 27th cap this evening. Ball cleared as far as Shea Charles, who helps it back to Billy Peacock Farrell. Now Conor Bradley on the Northern Ireland right. Cathcart finds Shea Charles. Northern Ireland have the ball on their left hand side, so we've got 15 minutes left to play. Still Denmark 1, Finland 1. Still 2-0 here to Northern Ireland. Both goals from Dion Charles, and England still 2-1 up against European champions Italy in Naples. And that's a poor challenge on Shea Charles. The Hungarian referee is only thinking about a card.
So Kieran Brown gets booked.
Yeah.
And he's let a lot go tonight.
He's let a lot go on the San Marino side.
Yeah, he really has, yeah.
It doesn't matter how small you are or what the difference in FIFA rankings is. Northern Ireland on the halfway line, 15 minutes left to play. Dion Charles is on a hat-trick. And they're trying to find him, but the ball forward by Cathcart only struck Shea Charles, and here comes San Marino on a rare attack forward, and it's substitute Rinaldi. There's the ball taken off him by Cathcart, but the challenge by Rinaldi was an illegal one. That'll be a Northern Ireland free kick.
It's the last 15 minutes are really important, Michael. and he's made his changes and real positive changes. Just again, the three centre halves move the ball quicker, get the ball from side to side, and then gaps will open up.
Brown on the left hand side for Northern Ireland. Inside his own half to Craig Cathcart. Brown again, Jim again gesticulating. And Northern Ireland with Brown over the halfway line, looking for the run by McGuinness. Was he offside? Yes, he was. On that left hand side. What sort of fella is Cameron McGeehan, Jim?
What sort of
fella is he?
He's a great attitude to the game. He's an athletic boy. He scores goals, Michael. He's one of those lads, right? He can be quite anonymous in the game. You won't see him land on the ball and spray passes, but what you will see, if the ball's in wide areas, he'll make late runs into the box and score you goals.
Qualifies for Northern Ireland through his grandparentage. Ball cleared upfield by San Marino, and here is Cameron McGeehan, chips it to the right hand side, looking for Dion Charles to make the run. That's not a great ball back with the defender towards the goalkeeper. He has to come out of the edge of his penalty area. It's Chivoli, one of the San Marino substitutes. Lazzari inside his own half, out to the right hand side, and Fabry he chips it up towards the halfway line, where it's nodded out towards Golanucci. We've hardly seen him feature at all in the second half. And again, the pace slows down completely. Brown inside his own half. Gets the ball back. Thompson. Back to Brown. Across to Craig Cathcart. Inside the centre circle in the Northern Ireland half. Shane Ferguson's gone a little run, and he's been well found. Ferguson with that number 11 on his back. Infield to Shea Charles. The squad now a mix of the old hands and the new faces. Paddy McNair on the right hand side. He's back in a defensive role since those substitutions a few minutes ago. Jordan Thompson looking for Josh McGuinness, who takes a tumble. Play continues with San Marino in possession. Conor Bradley trying to bear down on the defender, making a clearance. Brilliant work there by Cathcart. Delicately done to win the ball back inside his own half and roll it to Billy Peacock Farrell. And just that game's just dying down a wee bit now, Jim, with 13 minutes left to play.
Yeah, the changes can do that, but you know, I really emphasise the point. I think this is a real opportunity to score more goals, and we've got to just play quicker tempo. Craig's taking too long on the ball.
This is Thompson on the left hand side. Ball back to Kieran Brown, and again back to Billy Peacock Farrell. Northern Ireland fans, one of their quieter periods. And some of the younger San Marino supporters are going home to their beds. And here's Thompson on the Northern Ireland left. Gets the ball back, but wasn't a great ball. Thompson's winning it back. He's done well, Jordan Thompson. Ferguson's gone down that left-hand side, looking for Dion Charles, and wasn't close enough to Charles, and Ferguson slipped over on the far side. Game has just died a wee bit after that excitement of Dion Charles' second goal. McGeehan getting his foot into the tackle, and that'll be a free kick to San Marino. Slovenia earlier on came back from a goal down in Kazakhstan to win 2-1. Still Denmark 1, Finland 1. That game being played at the same time as this one in Copenhagen. So I think probably Michael O'Neill, as Jim DeGilton was saying, would probably take that as a result. And both managers, both coaches, hands in pockets, the edge of their technical area, no body language at all. There might be another change coming up. The board is being taken out as Northern Ireland clear the ball up to the halfway line. McGuinness watching on as San Marino play the ball down that left hand side. Lazzari, his distinctive blonde hair, and Conor Bradley with his mop of hair. We are going to see another change, and it is one of the youngsters. It is Isaac Price. Made his FA Cup debut last season for Everton against Boreham Wood. His Premier League debut towards the end of last season as well. That thrashing by Arsenal, nearly scored. San Marino pressing inside the Northern Ireland penalty area. The pitch is the pitch not good or the footwear not good? That's the debating point, because there have been slips by many a player this evening. Northern Ireland have forced possession back on their left-hand side. Isaac Price wearing 13. Corey Evans is 13, you could say. Blonde-haired figure as well. Conor Bradley's done well to win the ball back, but he's lost the ball again. It's got very scrappy this match. McGuinness won a little flicked header. There's room now in front of Jordan Thompson inside the San Marino half. Did Josh McGuinness time his run right? I think he did. He's down by that corner flag. Gets the ball back to Conor Bradley. McGeehan's made a run inside the area. Squares the ball instead to Shea Charles, who's beaten one defender, hasn't beaten the second. And the ball just hacked clear by San Marino as far as Kieran Brown. San Marino are looking a tired side. Jordan Thompson on the left-hand side for Northern Ireland, all in there yellow with black trim. Ferguson, infield to Shea Charles. There's room now on this right-hand side for Paddy McNair. McNair looking at the options, gives it to Conor Bradley. McGeehan, he's a busy figure, isn't he? Always bustling, looking for Bradley to continue his run. The ball's put out of play on this near side. And a chance for Isaac Price to make his international debut, his senior debut, at the age of 19. Brought up in Wakefield. He's been at Everton since the age of 7, and he is going to replace Kieran Brown.
Yeah, it's another really good play. Shea Charles will just slip back into a defensive centre-half position. Isaac's a good player. Technically very, very gifted. Can see a pass, will get forward as well, and creative.
So the throw will be taken by Conor Bradley on this near side. Isaac Price leaves the ball to Dion Charles, who's done well, but he doesn't beat the third defender. Cleared upfield by the men in sky blue, and the man furthest back in a yellow jersey is Shea Charles. So Michael O'Neill has made his changes. Let's see if Northern Ireland can come up with a goal or two in the last 8 minutes of this match. Let's see if Dion Charles can grab the match ball and a hat-trick. It's all the way back to Bailey Peacock Farrell. Peacock Farrell will leave it to Dion Charles, who's in a sort of central defensive position at the moment. Brown has gone off, so we've got a back three now of McNair on the right.
Great.
Shea Charles and Cathcart. San Marino have one possession back on the halfway line, and that's a good interception by Paddy McNair and tidied up by Shea Charles. And this is Captain Cathcart on that far left-hand side. Ferguson made himself available. Instead, it's gone to Shea Charles. And back with Cathcart, and Jim's getting frustrated.
Isaac Price has taken up really good position. He's playing in that little number 10 role, and just the patience. Great
and they
ball.
find him now. Isaac Price on the ball. Has found McGuinness. McGuinness feeds to this right-hand side. Conor Bradley inside the penalty area. Bradley, two defenders in front of him, and he's just got outnumbered at the wrong moment. Lazzari on the edge of the area. Can Northern Ireland win the ball back? Shea Charles is up and does good work, and Thompson does well. And that's tidy work from Jordan Thompson. Gets the ball back from Ferguson on that left-hand side. England are down to 10 men. Luke Shaw's been sent off with 10 minutes left to play in Naples. They're still leading England, leading Italy by 2-1. Northern Ireland leading by 2-0. And there's 6 minutes plus stoppage time left to play. There's a San Marino player down with cramp. I think it's the forward Nani who thought he'd scored in the second half, but I think it's Toll Stadium. You could see there was an offside flag about to come up, and the referee, the Hungarian referee, Mr. Bogar, is jogging across to tell him we'll either get some treatment or make way, and he might be making way now for the hugely experienced Matteo Vittioli.
I think Michael will be frustrated, Mike.
Yeah.
Simply because, you got, especially in them moments when we go 2-0 up and you feel sitting here, this is a real opportunity to score goals tonight.
San Marino substitutes number 18, Nicola Nandi, with number 7, Matteo Vittioli.
So Nani making way for Vittioli for the last 6 minutes. And play will restart with a drop ball in favour of Northern Ireland. It is. Cathcart has it. Plays it forward, looking for Dion Charles or Josh McGuinness. Controlled by McGuinness. Half cleared by the San Marino defence. It's been a scruffy performance at times, Jim.
It has.
Well, understandable.
Yeah, understandable. But that 15-minute second half where we really produced our best quality, and you're thinking, go on then. But it just hasn't materialized. Okay, some subs have come on, but I think the subs have all been positive substitutions.
Ball played forward down. The Denmark have scored again. Rasmus Højlund the second, and with 8 minutes left to play, Denmark are 2-1 up against Finland in Copenhagen. Chivoli gives the ball back to his defensive partner. And Chivoli on this left-hand side, tall figure, lean, plays it in field. This is a better possession from San Marino. A little bit of movement. Lazzari, who's been one of their better players, getting stuck in on the left-hand side, gets a pat on the back of his head from Matteo Vittioli. And San Marino have won a throw-in that'll be taken by substitute Alessandro Tosi. Tosi waiting to try and get the ball back, and the referee's not happy with the challenge by Conor Bradley. He's awarded the free kick a yard or two in from the left-hand side. He's not happy with it. Tosi's placed the ball. What Northern Ireland don't need to do is concede.
This is really important.
From a set piece.
Yeah, focus,
5 minutes left to play.
Yeah, focus and concentration. Go and attack the ball. Do your jobs.
Tosi with this free kick on the San Marino left-hand side. Everybody back for Northern Ireland. They want to keep that clean sheet. They don't want the ignominy of conceding to San Marino. Here comes the ball to the back post. Everybody's up. Jordan Thompson. But the referee's seen an infringement inside the penalty area and blows for a Northern Ireland free kick. What an anti-climax that was. So Denmark 2-1 up against Finland. Northern Ireland leading here in San Marino by 2-0. Free kick played by Bailey Peacock-Farrell to McNair. Bradley back to Paddy McNair. Out to that far side and Craig Cathcart. Looking for Thompson. They've coughed up possession though. San Marino looking for something right at the end of this game. Battistini. Lazzari wasn't quite alive to the ball being played through, but again, Northern Ireland, they can't be complacent in the closing minutes. It's back with Bailey Peacock-Farrell. There's another San Marino player down. Is that another dose of cramp? No, he's back on his feet now. Northern Ireland have the ball inside their own half with substitute Kieran McGeehan. It's now with Thompson. That's a nice ball for Price. Price, two defenders around him, offloads to McGeehan. McGeehan pressing forward, got support from Shane Ferguson on the left-hand side. 3 yellow shirts in the penalty area. Ferguson gets the cross in, deflects high towards the goalkeeper. He clutches the ball out of the night sky under pressure from McGeehan. And again, Benedettini will take his time.
That's a little.
All the school kids are down by the.
See that?
The plastic barrier there, waving, I assume, to the San Marino players and officials on the bench. Long clearance upfield. Paddy McNair with his eye on it. That might have hurt if it came off his facial features that he's protecting with that mask. San Marino have it. They're actually finishing the game in reasonable shape.
Yeah, you got a little glimpse there of McGeehan where he, bursts from midfield, passes the ball out, and then gets in the box.
And Vittioli's taking the captain's armband since coming off, taking it on off Palazzi. Lazzari on the left-hand side up against Conor Bradley. He's trying to win a throw-in or a corner, and he's won a throw-in.
And he's been lively. He's been their best player. He has shown real initiative, and he looks as if he can handle the ball.
Tosi, the substitute. And there is Lazzari. Goes for the curler cross to the back post. There's nobody there, and Shane Ferguson will let that bounce out of play, and we're heading towards stoppage time. We played 45 minutes in the second half. And Mr. Constantini, the San Marino coach, is deep in thought with his arm folded. We're going to get 3 additional minutes, a minimum of 3 minutes. And let's see if Northern Ireland can conjure up one final chance in those remaining moments. They're playing out from their own final third. Shea Charles ending the game in this central defensive role. And at the minute there doesn't seem to be a lot of impetus, but here's Isaac Price, who always looks bright when he has the ball at his feet. Conor Bradley, ball in field. Not a great touch by Dion Charles, but he is able to win the ball back for Thompson. Out to Ferguson on the left hand side. 4 green jerseys in and around the penalty area if he can beat the defender. There's 2 defenders now around him, but he's able to slot the ball back, and a good turn. This is a chance for Dion Charles. He's bustling, goes down under the challenge. Is that a penalty? No, it's not. Dion Charles feels he's a man more sinned against than sinning, but he made the most of that challenge.
First turn was excellent. Second turn, I don't think there's anything in it. No, he's the... Oh. Is there, Michael?
Have another look at the replay. There's certainly contact from the 40-year-old Tamayo. Hungarian referee and his team of officials didn't look remotely interested. And it looks as though Dion Charles will have to settle for the 2 goals. One with his head, one with his right foot, one on each half. And he has definitely justified his selection and the faith that Michael O'Neill has seen in him. What's the Hungarian referee seen on the halfway line? It's strange, as you say, he's let a lot of hefty challenges from San Marino go. And he's booked Kieran Brown for a lesser offence, you would have thought. And he's awarded a free kick to San Marino, 10 yards inside the Northern Ireland half. And we're in the last minute of play. And again, it's going to be Tosi will take this free kick, a high defensive line by Northern Ireland. Tosi with the left foot looking for the blue shirts at the back post, nodded away by the Northern Ireland defence. I think that was Cathcart, and a wide slash of the ball from Lazzari, and that goes well wide, closer to the corner flag than the goalposts. They're into stoppage time in Copenhagen, still 2-1. They're heading towards stoppage time in Naples, still 2-1 to England. Denmark still 2-1 up against Finland. Slovenia 2-1 winners earlier on in Kazakhstan. So that'll put Northern Ireland top of the group on goal difference. Let's accentuate the positive. There goes the full-time whistle. The game rather fizzled out in the end, but we saw first senior caps awarded to Cameron McGeehan, to Isaac Price, and we saw the first international goals from Dion Charles. The first one in the 24th minute, terrific cross from the right hand side by Connor Washington, well finished with a stabbing right foot from Charles, and then good work by Lewis on the left hand side 10 minutes into the second half, and a firm header past the rather theatrical goalkeeper Benedettini. San Marino offered virtually nothing up front, maybe no surprise there, but will Michael O'Neill, Jim Mitchell, be disappointed by a 2-0 victory?
No, I think he'd be happy with the result. Of course he will. You know, it's important to get off to a winning start, regardless of the opposition. I just think in that moment in the game, I do think that he will be disappointed with regards to the changes he made, which I thought were positive. It became a little bit disjointed and fractured, but I think there was an opportunity missed, and I think he will grasp that. In the context of the group, who knows what's going to happen down the line. It's a win. It's a positive start, obviously. There were lots of opportunities and chances within the game. He'd be disappointed with finishing, but listen, they're not very good, Michael, and teams are going to come here and give them a thumping. I just thought in those clinical moments, you know, when we were on top, we should have really capitalised on it.
I mean, the suggestion is that San Marino have tightened up defensively since that 10-0 thrashing by England in November 2021. We don't know what Denmark might do here. We don't know what Finland might do here. It might turn out to be a disadvantage playing here in the first game of the group. But a win is a win. The team heads to the National Stadium at Windsor Park on Sunday, looking to beat Finland to make it 2 wins out of 2. Michael has talked about how important it is to make a positive start to a campaign. Of course, it took 10 matches in his first era to get a win. He's up and running now. In terms of the personnel involved on Sunday, do you see many changes?
No, I don't. From the starting 11, no, not really. Depending on what happens and how they all recover, I don't see many. I think the shape stays the same.
In his first era, the team tended to be slightly different and play slightly differently at home. Jamie Ward seemed to get more chances at home than away.
Yeah. Will he change his shape to a 4-3-3 at home? Possibly. Gavin White may emerge. Again, he'll weigh that up and weigh the balance of the squad, and obviously he'll check everybody out on the way home. Listen, he secretly, he'll probably be seething in one regard in terms of the moments in the game when he knows they have to be clinical. Delighted with the result, delighted with 3 points, but I just feel that it is an opportunity missed, and he made sense that. But it was always important to get off to a winning start, Michael. That was to come away with anything less than 3 points would have been catastrophic.
And in terms of Dion Charles, his first touch occasionally is not just sharp enough for international football, but he took his 2 goals well.
Yeah, he's dangerous in the box. I always think with Dion, anything outside the box is a bonus. But if you're prepared to put things down the side and prepared to put things in the box, it's no surprise he's scoring goals with his club, and he's proved tonight, against weaker opposition. He'll be judged now if he starts against Finland. Will he take the opportunities? Will he, that we create? But listen, all you can do is look at tonight, assess tonight. He looked dangerous. When things were happening in and around the box, it was him that was landing on them, and he scored twice. It's a great start.
And is Conor Bradley increasingly nailing down a starting spot? What has Shea Charles done tonight in those different roles that he played?
Listen, Shea Charles is going to get better with games, and he's going to get better understanding of international football. If he's going to play in that role as quarterback, if you like, he's going to make mistakes. But he has to demand the ball more. I think he just has to be. He's not the loudest or most vocal, but he has to verbally demand the ball because he's such a really good player. Ollie Norwood had that sort of opportunity in possession where he became crucial and pivotal to Michael's teams. Shea has that opportunity. I think he's got a wonderful array of passing. He just needs to be more confident, and I think there was slight nerves. He gave the ball away early on, which affected his overall confidence, but I think second half he started really well. But the more games he gets, the better he's going to be, most certainly.
And it's an odd ground to play at because the atmosphere sort of disappears through the empty ends, and Northern Ireland tend to feed off the crowd and the travelling fans, and of course there'll be a wonderful reception on Sunday for the return of the prodigal.
Totally, of 100%. And going to Bradley is a catalyst too. Bradley gets you on the front foot. He's not frightened of making tackles.
We've seen that.
Yeah, and he's not, his debut. But he's not frightened of getting you high up the pitch. He'll take chances as well. And he's so positive in all aspects. And he looks bigger. And he looks as if he's had game time, which he obviously has. And he's improved dramatically in terms of physique and in terms of quality.
Højlund has got his hat-trick in stoppage time. Third goal for Rasmus Højlund. Denmark are going to beat Finland by 3-1. So there's the gauntlet thrown down by the Danes already, Jim.
Yeah, they're the team to beat. We all expect them to finish top of the group. But it's going to be a massive fight for second place, and we got to be in the reckoning.
And in terms of the absentees, we expect them all to come back into contention when they're fit.
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. We're a better side. There's no question about that. Sure, Dallas certainly gives you the energy, and the added bonus of Bradley, you can get Dallas then in the midfield. And that gives you another surge. It gives you another real quality from there. It gives you a goal threat from there. Now, obviously, the option is to play him wide, but if Bradley keeps playing the way he's playing, that's another thing. Corey gives you an option, especially when you're playing a better opposition where he's aggressive, he wins the ball back, he keeps things simple for you, and he plays a massive role in that. And obviously David's experience and vast experience, he will give you, he may even be an option from the bench if you like, because of when the heat comes out of the game, where his game nous and game experience and his sense of knowing and his passing range gives you control in the game. So obviously they will come into contention, but none of them young lads tonight have done themselves any harm indeed.
Jamal Lewis needs a club. He needs game time, doesn't he?
Totally. And take that opposition out of the equation. I think he did everything with pace tonight. He wasn't challenged defensively, which is fine because we know that.
Do you prefer to see him in a more advanced role? Do you prefer to see McNair further up the field than he's maybe playing at club level?
Well, yeah, I think Paddy, like we all agreed that Paddy for Northern Ireland is a massive plus for midfield. He even showed that. He showed that lots tonight. And there were times when he showed he hadn't been playing in midfield. He wasn't playing on the half turn. He was playing, even when areas when he could have turned, he was going back. But he just he's got fantastic athleticism, and he's one that can emerge in the box.
England have won in Naples. Finished with 10
result.
men. Goals from Declan Rice early in the first half, late first half penalty by the record England goal scorer now Harry Kane, and England beating Italy by 2-1 despite the fact that Luke Shaw was sent off towards the end of that. Let's hope it's peaceful in Naples this evening. It will be peaceful here in Serravalle and San Marino. Northern Ireland fans celebrating a victory over the whipping boys of men's international football, San Marino, by 2-0, Joel.